Hello class. Today's video is going to be rather short because we're not really going to learn any new topics, but instead today's going to be a problem solving day. So this might be a little challenging for you because normally on days like this I give you guys lots of class time to be able to get together in small groups or work with a partner. And so that might be a little bit more difficult for you, and you might find yourself getting stuck at times. So please do your best to persevere through. I would highly recommend that with word problems, draw pictures. Visuals can be a great resource for you as you try to get things set up. The book has a few pictures of its own to provide for you for some of the problems that I'm going to give you. All of the problems will cover either the SOHCAHTOA trigonometry, and remember that is something we use with right triangles. Okay, if the problem that you have is not dealing with a right triangle, then you're going to either have to use the law of sines or the law of cosines. So all the math for today's lesson you already know how to do, you've already practiced, and so it's just going to be a little bit of reading carefully and again drawing pictures and problem solving. Before I give you the assignment, I wanted to just mention two terms that may or may not be familiar to you. One of them is angle of elevation, and they might talk about an observer, and maybe they're looking at something like a hot air balloon, and anytime the book references the angle of elevation, they're talking about this angle down here that's created by where the person is and towards the object. Okay, so we call that the angle of elevation. And then the other one is angle of depression, and it's the angle that is formed by the horizon of wherever the person or object is going towards an object that's on the ground. And so that would be this angle right here is the angle of depression. This one, sometimes we tend to get mixed up. Sometimes students might draw this one and call this one up here the angle of depression, but it is not that one. Don't draw that one. It's this angle right up here. So we've got angle of elevation and angle of depression. So your homework for today is split up over 3 pages. This one, the page 533 to 534, that comes from lesson 8.1. And so I picked 3 problems there for you to try, 66, 70, and 74. And then lesson 8.2, this was the law of sines assignment. So I'd like you to try 46 and 52. And then from lesson 8.3, the law of cosines assignment, I'd like you to do 50 and 62. I have a few hints for you, some tips that might help you if you get stuck. The first one is just to pay attention to the title of the lesson. So for example, if you're doing one of the problems from 8.2, that was the law of sines problem, so you could take a pretty good guess that you're going to have to use the law of sines. Or when you're doing, if you're doing 50 or 62 from 8.3, there's a good chance that you're going to have to use the law of cosines. So I think that's a helpful hint, is just keep in mind which lesson you're on and which section you're on, and that should be your guide. For lesson 8.1, number 70, to answer that question, you're most likely going to need 2 equations that each have 2 unknowns. And so at some point you're going to have to use your knowledge of how to solve a system of equations to help you with that. So perhaps using substitution or elimination. On number 74, they talk about this angle A and angle B. I think if you're kind of stuck and not sure what to do, if you find the value of angle A plus B first, that can be really helpful. And I think they give you some information that allows you to find angle B, so then if you can find the value of angle A plus B, that can then lead you to angle A. And then on 8.3, number 62, there's an identity that they want you to verify. You might remember we did a lot of that back in chapter 7. And this one, they give you a hint already to use the law of cosines to help you out. But just one further hint would be to work on the left side. I think if you work on the left side, you'll have a much better chance at getting that than if you work on the right side. So good luck. Again, I know these can be a little bit more challenging, so if you get stuck, please reach out to me for help. Post a comment, email me, pop in on one of the live sessions, and I can try to help you through this, or reach out to a friend and see if maybe that person can give you a few pointers to help get you going again. So we'll see you next time. Thanks again for tuning in.